Hello, my name is Monica Vivas. I am a mindset and holistic fertility coach, and I'm here today to share my story and journey towards motherhood, which it wasn't an easy one. First of all, I want to tell you a little bit about myself, where I'm coming from, and why I was inspired to become a coach as I am today. My hometown is actually in New York, but my birth country is Colombia. And I actually met with my husband 18 years ago. That's when my story actually started. And we met in Match.com. It's sometimes funny to say, and a lot of people and a lot of friends always tell me that's such a funny story because I was actually in my birth country and he was here in the States. So we met, basically after 5 months we got married, and I was here in this beautiful country that have given me a lot of joy, my kids, my house, and a lot of happiness. But before all of that, my journey towards motherhood wasn't an easy one, and I actually took it for granted. I am coming from a family that my mother's side is actually very, very big. They were 18 kids, 9 boys and 9 girls. So I have about 243 cousins, and all of them used to get pregnant with what we said in Colombia, the blow of a kiss. So somehow I said, when I get married and I'm gonna have kids, I'm gonna be pregnant as easy as they were. When I met my husband, he had a daughter from a previous relationship, a previous marriage. So, I thought it's gonna be easy from both sides. We start to try after actually, I think, about a year of being married, and after 8 months nothing was happening. So I start to get a little worried because he has already a daughter, and I was thinking that definitely was something wrong with me. I went to the doctor, to the gynecologist, and he said to us that usually couples, when they are starting to plan for family, take about a year. So to try another 4 to 5 months to complete that year, and then to come back to him in case that I wasn't getting pregnant, because anxiety and stress plays a role in affecting the conception. So I went back with my husband, and we continued trying for about 4 to 5 months more, and nothing happened. So I went back to the doctor, and we spoke with him. I was already getting into much more concern and much more anxiety, and he put me on Clomid to see what will happen. He even said that taking Clomid could lead to have multiple pregnancy, twins or triplets. So I was kind of happy, and I came back, tried for another 3 months, and nothing happened. We went back, and I was obviously more anxious, more worried. We did all the tests that they're supposed to do, hormonal tests, balance, the blood. My husband did his part, and everything was coming okay. So the next step was doing some physical tests, and this is when we discovered, or the doctor discovered, that the problem was coming from. They did hysterosalpingogram on me, and we found out that both my fallopian tubes were blocked. So I was devastated, I was worried, he was too, and we didn't know in what kind of path we were entering. The doctor said that there is some procedures that can help to open the tubes. We can go and try to do laparoscopy, and then if that doesn't help us, we will have to go through IVF, in vitro fertilization, what is called today ART, assisted reproductive medicine. So I didn't really want to think too far. I was having the hope that after doing the laparoscopy, somehow my tubes, or at least one, would be open, but that wasn't the case. So then we are here after all of these tries and all the stress of thinking that I was completely normal to have a baby, and it didn't happen. So all of this comes with a lot of psychological pressure. We women that find out that the problem is female factor, is us. It's affecting our psychological thinking, our emotions, and I start to think that I am defective, something is wrong with me. I start to feel feelings of guilt, and I start also to feel very embarrassed to talk with people because it's like a taboo. in that time. That was 15 years ago. However, we entered into that. I was devastated. I started to cry like crazy, like, you know, like the world is ending and there is no hope. And my husband was there and he was telling me, well, you know, we still have this kind of possibility, which we didn't know what it was. IVF, it was something that I heard maybe once, I don't know, in the past, but barely, like overheard it. And we really enter into this world without knowing. Our gynecologist, my gynecologist, recommended a doctor, great doctor here in New York, in the state of New York, and we went to him. He was very kind, very compassionate, and he explained us the process and how it's supposed to work. But still, with all the explanations, we were new on this road, and there was a lot of things during this walk of this path that we didn't know. We were very lucky because our first in vitro worked, and is today my 15-year-old daughter, Elia. And we were very happy. Things were going as it's supposed to, as we expected to be working. All our tests, the eggs, the part of my husband test were completely normal. So the doctor used to say that he will not see any issue in me to getting pregnant with IVF. However, he was very honest too and told us that first time treatments usually are not successful. So he was very balanced in telling us that he believed it could be successful, but at the same time he cannot guarantee, because that's how IVF was working in that time. Today is much different. Medicine and technology has been advanced a lot. So as I said, my first cycle worked, and you know, everything was beautiful. I got pregnant, the pregnancy went well, but we also didn't know, and nobody explained us, even that the doctor was very kind and very thoughtful in telling us what we were needed to know. There was never that explanation of that we could have the possibility of froze embryos, or even froze my eggs or my husband's sperm, to going ahead if we wanted more kids, to make the process much easier, less financially impactful, and all of that. So we didn't know, and we just continue our walk and say, okay, maybe in 2 or 3 years when Elia is going to be a little bigger, we're going to go back and do another IVF and try for a sibling, and it's going to be as easy as this first one was. But then it didn't happen, and actually is now during this time when I start my second cycle that my struggle, my journey really with anxiety and this roller coaster of emotions that ART brings to us started. We went to the same doctor, I think exactly about 3 years later, and we did our second cycle. Everything was going okay with him. There was some changes in the clinic. He changed a few of the personnel, and one of the nurses that was calling me every night to give me the dosage that I needed to take, unfortunately made a mistake one of the nights, and the charts with another patient were changed. So the dose that it's supposed to be to me was done, I guess, or was given to the other patient, and the other one to me. So this second cycle had to be canceled because I got OHSS, this ovarian syndrome, that my ovaries become very inflamed, and the cycle had to be canceled. So as we go, it was very frustrating that the cycle had to be canceled, because you know, we were ready to just go into the process and have our second baby. So it was really frustrating, it was upsetting. And what happened is the doctor assumed the responsibility, the clinic took the responsibility, and he said, we need to wait about 3 months until your body gets cleaned up from all the medicine that is having during the second cycle, and then we're gonna go to do the third cycle, and I will take care of that. You will not be charged for that third cycle, and we will give you the medicine that is needed up to the point that you use. So we did that. We waited the 3 months. I think we waited about 4 months, and we went back to him and we did our third cycle. The third cycle started very well. He was actually the one that took care personally of me and my husband's case. And then this third cycle went successful. I got pregnant. But unfortunately, I think after the amniocentesis, I was 37 years old, and they did amniocentesis to make sure that the baby was okay. Everything was absolutely okay. And I developed some kind of blood issue, and unfortunately at 39 weeks I had my baby daughter Isabel a stillbirth. So I had to go to the hospital and deliver my dead baby. This was really devastating. This was an impact very heavy in our lives, and my husband and my life. And of course, emotionally, mentally, and physically, I was completely a wreck. And each person grieved differently. So I was crying, I was devastated, and then on the other hand, my husband ran away, went back to work. And as I see that, I actually was judging him. Inside, I was like, what? Thinking to myself, he's not feeling it, he's not feeling the pain. And all of that started to create also cracks in our relationship. So my first thing was like, I need to replace this emptiness of the baby. The baby, you know, that I didn't have. You go to the hospital to have a baby and you are expecting to get out with a baby and your body is ready, you know. So I was producing milk, I was with all these emotions of, after pregnancy, and to come back with empty hands into my house and to tell my daughter that in that time was 5 years old. So it was really devastating. I didn't know how to take it. So the first thing that came to my mind was like, I need to go and do another IVF. I need to do another cycle. So I start to, basically that's the expression I use, drill my husband's brain that I need to do another cycle. So he was not agree with that because he was explaining me that emotionally we are not ready and the grieving process was not kind of complete. But anyway, I just pushed, put pressure, and we talked with our RE, and he gave us the reference of another RE that was his friend, and we went into a different clinic, but a doctor that was referred by him, and we did our fourth cycle. And this was actually about 2 months after I lost the baby. It was fast, yes, absolutely, it was fast. It was the right thing to do. It wasn't the right thing to do, but you know, that's things that happen in life. So we went there, we did our fourth cycle, and then I got pregnant, but unfortunately at 7 weeks I had a miscarriage. And all of that has to do with, as a consequence of, you know, the emotional situation that we were going through from the loss of the baby, of the stillbirth. And all of this together, you know, one pain from that loss to the other pain of this miscarriage brought us to a really bad place as a couple. And the relationship also started to crack. We basically almost got divorced. And we came to a point that we needed to kind of settle, talk, and decide what we are going to do. And we kind of talk and realize that we need to focus on what we have and not of what we don't have. And we have actually to also grieve the loss of Isabel, grieve that miscarriage, and go through a process of healing and recovering, and also on working on the relationship. So we took kind of a year on working on all of that, the relationship, create more communication, being focused on our daughter Elia, on my stepdaughter and my husband's daughter Daniela. And then after that time, we decide that we're gonna go for a last cycle, a fifth cycle. And then whatever is gonna happen, we are gonna be accepting whatever comes with it. If we get pregnant, that's beautiful. If we don't get pregnant, that's okay. We're gonna stay with our daughter. So we went through a fifth cycle with a different doctor close to our house. And the cycle went successfully. And I am now a mother of a 7-year-old. Her name is Maya. So all of this struggle, all of this journey took me to a point in my last cycle that I realized that there is so many women and couples, and today even same-sex couples, that they have to go basically by no other choice but IVF and surrogacy. So it's a very big process, and all of this inspired me. My last cycle inspired me to become a coach, to kind of come out and speak out and talk about the process, encourage people to recognize and to accept that there is nothing wrong with us. There is nothing that we born defective, or nothing to be embarrassed, because there is a lot of people in this world that need and have to do through ART to become parents. There is nothing wrong with that, and speaking out helps, creating community helps. So these kind of inspire me to come out, help. And I thought when I start to work on this, I thought that nobody else was there. And today I find out that there is so many people, so many coaches, so many practitioners, and even clinics are starting now to approach that emotional part that an in vitro fertilization process and ART bring into the table to a couple. Is a financial impact, is an emotional impact, is psychological, and all of that together, of course, create more stress in what the process is by itself. So I became a coach, and now I actually did a coaching program for fertility, in which I got certified, and I am also doing another one in which I am focusing on hormones and cycling, and I am finding more answers and more tools to help others towards this journey. Because the idea is, if we can avoid, if there is a couple that get diagnosed, for example, with unexplained infertility, means there is nothing that they can find that is really affecting the fact that they cannot get pregnant, and somehow we can help them to try to conceive naturally, or even if they have to go to the road of IVF, so to create like kind of a emotional support along with holistic mindset, lifestyle, that can help them increase their outcome for having a baby. And not only a positive outcome, like a positive test, but to get through that positive and to the end of a pregnancy with a live baby. And also this journey of us, me and my husband, helped me and inspired me to write the book, The IVF Planner. This is actually like a journal that I wrote, because one of the things that IVF bring with it is all these numbers and records and blood tests and things that the appointments, the times. And I used to just write everything in little papers, and eventually all the little papers got lost, and I was crazy looking for results on my last beta test, or on the first one after the 2-week wait and all of that. So I incorporate everything, organize all based on my own mess, and put that in a book with an explanation that is a little bit brief, and also at the same time a little expanded into what is IVF, my own story, what to look in a clinic, in an RE, what kind of things you need to evaluate when you go to your clinic, also to speak out as a patient, because not always the doctors have a saying, you as a patient have a saying. And also in the chapter of the 2-week wait, I actually put something that it's helping into shifting our mind. It's coloring mandalas, some activities that I did, and helped me to change a little bit the mindset during that time, because anxiety is something that take over our minds. Hold on, I'm looking here. So what I found is that coloring and art therapy are a big help during this process. Basically, that's what it is, my story, and it's a way for me to help others, and I truly love what I do. So eventually I realized that all the struggle and all the anxiety and this process that I went through, it worth it all the way. Not only because I became a mother of 2 children, but because I am now building community, helping others, and honestly, I have found the most wonderful and long life friendships in this community. So I always said that my pain became my purpose, and that's my story.